Hi, welcome. Simon here, and I hope you're doing well. In this video, I'll walk you through step by step on how to do a screen replacement on a MacBook Pro the year of 2020. Alright, so if you're not sure what model that is, turn it around, take a look at the back of your laptop here. It says A2338. That is the MacBook Pro M1 the year of 2020. So that is my model right here. And let's get started. So the first thing you need to have is a Pentalope P5 screwdriver, and we'll be removing the screw here and the back plate. So if you have cracked screen, pixelated screen, distorted color screen, and if your screen looks funny to you on the display but it works well, if you plug it into an external monitor or maybe output it to an HDMI to your television, and if the TV or the external monitor works perfectly fine, the color looks good to you, then more likely that your LCD screen within the laptop is bad. So I would suggest you to maybe try that to replace the screen. Hopefully that works. And yeah, so those are some of the symptoms that you may find on a bad LCD screen. Okay, so let's go ahead and get yourself a metal prying tool. You want it to be tiny enough to go in between that back cover. Alright, so in between the back cover and the base of your laptop. While I'm using my fingernail holding at it, I'm just going to pop it. You hear that little click because there's no screw here on the side. It's just a clipper that clips onto the back cover. So you need to separate that clipper by, use a little bit of a force to push the back plate and let it pop. Alright, once you have the both sides clipper unlocked, you want to slide the back cover down. So meaning you want to slide this back cover down towards your body. So while you're sliding it down, and that way you can remove the entire back cover. So I was telling you that the side clipper is referring to these both ends. They are clipping onto the laptop. Alright, so once you have removed that, you can obviously see the internal part of your laptop. If you want to take this opportunity to go ahead and dust off your fan, clean it off, by all means you can get the A-can duster and just spray it to kind of clean it off. Now the next step I like to do is to disconnect the battery. So peel off this little plastic cover. At this point here, you see the little tape that is taping down the connector. You're going to flip open the tape and open up that clipper. So if you take a closer look here, that connector has a little security clipper. You flip that clipper open straight up, facing upwards. That is open, and if you close it, that is closed. Okay, so you're going to flip that black connector up. When it's open, now you can slide that flex cable to your left to slide it out. The next step is to get yourself a T3 screwdriver. Oh, sorry, I apologize. This is a T4. So get yourself a T4 screwdriver and remove that screw. Okay, so remove that one screw. Now that the battery is disconnected from the motherboard. Alright, so the next step you like to do is to remove the screw here at the bottom using a T4 screwdriver. Make sure you have the screw placed accordingly because all the screws are all in a different size. You do not want to mix match the screw. So as you remove them, you want to place them on the side so that you know which screw that goes where later on. Alright, so the two screws that I just removed belongs to this little bracket. Put that on the side next to that, and I know it belongs to that bracket. Okay, so far I have removed using a T4 screwdriver, remove the bottom 6, 2, 4, 6 screws. All right, you follow me so far? Now the next step is to remove this bracket here. Again, I'll be using the T4. I just remove the 2 screws and the bracket just come right off. Once that is done, what I'm going to do is to pry open that connector right here. All right, so this connector is bringing the information from your motherboard to the LCD board. So make sure you do not damage this connector here. All right, the next step I like to do is to remove the screws, the black screw, the 1, 2, 3, 4 that is holding onto the LCD board. Again, I'm using the T4 screwdriver. Once you have removed the 4 screws, now you can see that the LCD board is free and loose to go. Okay, now before we can remove the LCD, there are plenty more things we need to remove, so let's continue with it using a T4 again. Remove the 2 screws. We are trying to get underneath that hinge. But before we can do that, we need to remove the plastic. So once you remove the 2 screws, now the plastic will just come right off. Make sure you put them on the side where you know that is for the left. And I'm putting this one on my right, so I know that this is going to be the right side of the plastic. All right, once you have done removing all that, the next step is get yourself a Pentalope P5, which is the 0.8 size. It's really tiny little 0.8 star. Okay, so go ahead and remove all the screws, and then this is for the Wi-Fi. The 0.8 star is for the Wi-Fi connector. So go ahead and remove them. Try not to strip that screw because they're really tiny and small, so you want to make sure you have a good grip by inserting the tool all the way in. Have a good grip and turn it, and take your time. Do not rush in this process. If you match the screws for this Wi-Fi, the tiny little ones here, it is fine because the screws are all the same. So it is okay if you match them, but the rest of it, do not match them. They are not the same. All right, so once you have removed all the screws here for your Wi-Fi antenna bar, do not forget to remove this plastic here. Peel the plastic off, because we need to get underneath that Wi-Fi connector. It's a little bit sticky because they use double-sided tape. Okay, and I'll be using a T4. Remove this screw. This screw here is holding down to your Wi-Fi connector. So you have 2 Wi-Fi connector here. I would just tug it underneath and pop it straight up. All right, so the connector is like circle. So the motherboard here is a smaller circle, and the Wi-Fi antenna connector is a bigger circle. They go on top of each other. So if you just go underneath and pop it straight up, there you would have removed it. Okay, now the next step I like to do is remove the Wi-Fi antenna. So you want to slightly wiggle and work your way out. So if you pay close attention to this one here. The Wi-Fi antenna is go in between that metal bracket, right? So you want to slide it out gently, and later when we install, we need to tug it in between that metal bracket to go back in. All right, so that is all done. Next step, T8 screwdriver. We are removing the 3 screws on the left. And 3 screws on the right. Once you have done that part, now you can go ahead and open up your laptop. I like to push it almost all the way to the back so that I can slide the hinge out of the base on that laptop, right? So you're going to do that and do the same thing on the other side. Slide it out. All right, so once you have slid out both sides, and the screen will just come right off. Okay, now let's bring the new screen up. So this is the new screen that I got. What you want to do is you want to open up that hinge almost to all the way to the back, like more than 90-degree angle. Okay, so open it up. Let's remove the old screen here. Okay, so what you want to do is we are doing the reverse process here. So we want that the LCD board go on top of the laptop, right? You want all this cable, the 1 and 2 and 3. So 1, 2, 3 cable, you want them to be on top of the laptop. At the same time, you want the hinge to slide back in to the laptop. So what you want to do is make sure the cable is sitting on top first, and now you come back and slide the hinge back in, both sides at the same time. Okay, now once they're in at the angle, go ahead and get your T8 screwdriver. We are putting that 1 screw in, so let's put the screw back in. And put it in on the other side as well. Hopefully you guys can see it on this side. All right, so I put 1 in on each side. Double check, make sure the cable is good, it's not clipped. It is above and on top of the laptop. Great, now I can close the screen. All right, so what happened so far is we just change it out, right? And we put the screw here on one side and one on the other so that it can hold the hinge and I can close the screen. Now once the screen is closed, we can go back to the normal position and start finishing up the screen. So let's put 3 screws back on the right side of this hinge and 3 more screws here back onto the hinge. Okay, so 3 and 3, that is done. Now the next step is I like to slide the Wi-Fi connector back in. So remember I was telling you that it has to go back in, so let's go ahead and slide in between. Right, slide in between, and that little metal supposed to be on top of the motherboard. Okay, so it looks like everything is good. Let me go ahead and get my T4 and put the screw in to secure fasten that Wi-Fi antenna. Not all the way in, I just want to hold that bracket. I just want to have enough room. Make sure I have enough room to connect the Wi-Fi antenna back together. Alright, so here you want to pay very close attention, take your time, you know, get your eyes very close to the connector, focus. And what I'm trying to do is I have the feeling of the fingernail. I align the circle on top of each other and I gently push it. And if you have to use force to push it down, then you're in a bad position, right? You did not get it correct. It doesn't need any force to do it, okay? So don't force it down. All you have to do is align them in a position and you gently press it. It would connect very easily. All right, that being said, the next step is to get the plastic cover back in. We need to get the cover back in. So put the plastic on the right side, get the 2 tiny screws, go, going back in. Okay, repeat the same process on the other side of it. Let's go all the way in. There you go. Now get your P2 0.8. We are doing all the Wi-Fi now. Okay, all this tiny screw for the Wi-Fi. If you miss 1 or 2 screws here for the Wi-Fi, it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. You actually do not need all the screws here, but I'm not sure why they have that many screws. I just do not understand it. If you do, please comment below. Let me know, what do you think? Why Apple have that many screws on the Wi-Fi antenna? And I need to know, because it is too much work and they're too tiny, the screw. So anyway, take your time. You don't have to rush. I'm pretty sure you can get this thing done correctly. And for those of you who are not sure where to buy the tools from, okay, or the replacement screen from, go ahead and check in the description below. I'll link them where it direct you to Amazon or eBay, where you can find the replacement screen as well as the tool for this repair. Okay. Okay, once you have done that process, the next step is, let me realign the LCD board. We are trying to install the LCD board back together. Okay, so get your T4 screwdriver. There are 4 screws holding down to the LCD board. Okay, once you have done that process, now in this little black thing, you need to flip it backwards, somewhat to flip it, you know, away from you. Just flip it that way and then tug it in. So tug it in, push it all the way in. It takes like 1 or 2 practice. It's not simple, like I'm having some difficulty now, right? You need to open it and tuck in. Had to explain it. Hopefully you can see it while I'm doing it, but yeah, that's the way to do it. Okay, once you have that, remember to put the screws back in. Okay, same thing for the other side. Flip it back, right? You open it and flip it back, so it's the black one is facing you now, and tuck it in. Okay, now this is the final step. Make sure that you have the connector sitting on top of each other again. Gently press it down. Do not force it all the way in. Okay, that bracket and the screw going in. That bracket and the two screws going back in. Right, once you have done with that part, now have your Wi-Fi, no sorry, not the Wi-Fi, the battery screw. Let's screw it back in first. And now you want to slide that cable, make sure the connector is open. Slide the cable to your right. Slide it in, push it all the way in. Once it's in, then close the connector down. Okay, be very careful with the plastic connector. This is so tiny, and a lot of you guys have big fingers like I do, and sometimes you press it the wrong way. What happens is that you're gonna break that thing, right? So just be very careful when you come to that part. Take extra 5 seconds of your time, be very gently and push it down. Save you a long, save you a lot of headache. Okay, so that is all said and done. We are all done with that process. Everything is good now. So the next step is we need to slide it back in. So as you see that we slide it out at the very beginning of the video, this is the slider. You need to slide it back in. So what I like to do is I like to align them first, about this much, right? Have your laptop sitting in the right position, line it nicely and great. Let's see, and then slide it in. Okay, and just slide it in, and once you slide them in, press it down. The two clipper on the side, push it down. Pentalope P5. Have the screw go back in. The longest screw go on the top. The medium screw goes to the bottom left and right. And the two tiny screw right in the center. Alright, I hope the video is helpful, and if you find this video helpful for you, please go ahead and give me a like. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, feel free to subscribe. I do make a lot of computer repair tutorials, and hopefully I can help you guys over the internet. Alright, if you have any question, comment below. I do read your comments and I'll try to answer those questions. And again, I just wanted to say that if you're not sure where to buy the replacement part from, check out the Amazon link or the eBay link in the description below. Now the computer needs power adapter to power up. So that is a little trick for you. If you have watched all the way here at the end and you try to turn on the laptop, press the power button, hey, I just changed the new screen. Why I have no display on my screen? Well, you need to have the power adapter, plug it in, and you hear the thing, ding, Apple sound, then there you go. You should have the screen, a brand new display. All right, I hope this video is helpful. Again, do not forget to smash the like button. Thank you for doing so. Until next time, bye now.